Good morning, guys. It is July 22nd, 2023. Anna here. I haven't been able to really do a lot of videoing, honestly, with this whole garden thing. On top of that, I work a full-time job, plus I bartend in the evenings, some evenings a week. So, it's been busy. We've got the farm too, so we've got the 3 cows over at Robin's, plus we've got our chicks and ducks here on my mom's property, where I'm staying right now during the weekdays, because it's closer to work. Originally, I had actually filmed this on another phone, but I figured I was getting my new phone in, and I didn't really go that much into depth, and I actually watched Jen over at Roots and Refuge Farm, and she said how she originally started her podcasts and her videos and everything like that because she wanted to look back on it and see where she was at and kind of really have that record for herself. So I figure I'm going to do a little bit of a longer video and we'll go through everything that we've got here in the garden. I started putting it in. Our last frost date, I believe, is May 13th is the average. So I actually had it in not long after that. We had started everything in the trailer. It actually dipped down to -12. So luckily everything survived in the trailer. Didn't have a greenhouse, so you make do with what you can. So yeah, now we're kind of, obviously everything's in the ground and doing very well. So we'll get you on a tour of that and show you where we're at, show you what's up. Does it ever get better talking to yourself, guys? Anyone for a new YouTuber? Does it just, you stop stuttering at some point, right? I've already filmed the video, but I did want to do a really quick intro, guys. Don't forget to watch to the end of this video and comment so you can win your packet of seeds from West Coast Seeds. Your choice to be mailed out to at the end of the month. Reminder that we are always building a community here and the idea of reciprocity and giving back. First off, this is our emergency garden. So all of those extra seed packets or impulse buys, I literally threw them in here. I have not weeded, I have not done anything with them. We do have some beets, we have some radishes, we have some turnips coming up. I will get to it at some point, but it's not an immediate thing. We have our raspberry bush. So if anyone tells you that these guys are very invasive and they will spread like wildfire, they are honestly being very gentle. Even in this container here, we still have them shooting up through the lawn. So last night though, I made some raspberry leaf tea, threw in some raspberries as well as some dried lemon balm and peppermint. I think it was literally the best tea of my life. So here we have our chicken and duck garden. We have it all fenced in. I take them out almost every morning so they're able to come outside, kind of help with the pests. These guys are the ones that need a little bit more watering, a little bit more prolific over the summer months. So we have got our tomatoes. The first row there is all cherry tomatoes. These rows are about 26 feet long. They are indeterminate. We have them all trellised. Here we have our Optimax, and I believe it was Moneymaker that we got. So we've got them pruned down to the first inch up or so. And I don't know, I think they're doing pretty good. Here we have our ground cherries, and down at the end I managed to sneak in some dahlias that I tried to start from seed. Gross duck water, but this actually serves a purpose. So we put out this little kiddie pool for the ducks, and every morning after I come out, I empty it from the day before, and I actually use it as a liquid fertilizer for the garden, and it's been working out pretty well. Speaking of ducks, guys, let me tell you, apparently they like jalapeno pepper plants. So the further we go down, the more they survive. I'm not a big spicy person, so my heart's not broken about it. I'm just letting them be ducks and have their thing. Here we have got our pepper plants. None of my pepper plants actually sprouted, So I ended up just going to Gaia Seeds out in Ottawa, and I got them on sale for $1 a plant, just to kind of salvage that part. Here, guys, one of my favorites. Last year I had maybe 2 or 3 zucchini plants. I went crazy. I think I've got like 9 here. Look at these babies. Like, they are huge. We have had a really bad time, you can see here, with our cucumber beetles. I tried spraying some vinegar on them. I'll probably try some baking soda a little later on, but they are doing amazing. And moving over, we have got our cucumber. So we've got them all trellised here. And let me see if I can find you guys something here. Got all of our flowers. We do have some cucumbers, I know, on some of these coming up, so I'm gonna have to learn how to pickle sooner rather than later. But yeah, this is our first little section of garden. And moving on. So next here, behind me, it is super sunny, the sun is rising right in my face. We have got our wheat. So I did want to kind of experiment. The rest of my family is gluten intolerant, and recently it seems I've been reacting to beer, actually. So maybe myself included, but I have got some spelt. I tried some other ones like Khorasan, and I've also got some hard winter wheat in there. So as soon as that is good and done, we are going to be milling that up and trying to bake our own bread. So this is some of our spelt here. I think this is one of the ones I'm most excited about. So our first row here are some sunflowers. These ones are my giants, and we've got some white Italian peeking out in there. Right below it here, we have got some potatoes, which, guys, I know it sounds so stupid, but they have the cutest little white flowers, and I don't know why I didn't realize that potatoes had flowers. It makes sense. Next, we have got our artichoke. So whenever I started, I intercropped these with some lettuce. So with the idea that they would grow bigger, they'd cascade, but by the time they were so big, I would have our harvest of lettuce. Now, unfortunately, my hard-learned garden lesson number 1 was that if you do not weed, the weeds will keep the moisture locked in around the lettuce, and they will actually rot the lettuce in the ground. So the ducks loved it, but for all intensive purposes on my watch, it did not. Got our farm dog Brody. So here you can see that intercropping a little bit as well. These ones, in this case, hard garden lesson number 2, all of our lettuce is bolting, so it's actually taller than our sunflowers here. You can see it's starting to set in some seeds there on the end. So we are in the process of taking this out. Some of it's going to salad, some of it's being dehydrated. Now, we do have sunflowers interplanted with it right now, but before, these rows here were actually all broccoli. Again, with the intent that once I took the broccoli out, I would have lettuce in between and could then interplant with the sunflowers. The broccoli, I'll show you guys some videos. So you guys, the broccoli bolted completely. We didn't even have like one head come up. Anything that did kind of come up, it kind of looked like those cute little florets. And I went immediately to see there was nothing we could do. We could try pinching the seeds, seeing nothing. So in a Google attempt, you guys saw my video, my little shorts from earlier, we actually ended up harvesting the leaves. It turns out you can eat them just like you would spinach or kale. So we actually ended up going and harvesting all of the leaves. Again, I work 2 jobs, so it was literally me getting up at 5:30 in the morning, harvesting for an hour. I work maybe 5 minutes away, and I have an hour lunch, which is lucky because I was able to jet home real quick, harvest for maybe another half hour, and then in the afternoon I'd come home, and typically I'll work till 4 o'clock, Then I shift over to my next job, bartending, that starts at 5. So again, I would come home, I'd have maybe half an hour, I'd harvest like crazy. I'd come home at 8 or 9 o'clock at night and I would process. So I did that maybe for about a week straight. And we ended up processing them, we blanched them, and then we put them through a burger press, and we got pre-portioned stir-fry ready broccoli leaves. So I just felt incredibly smart for that. Also guys, I think I should mention that, one, this is a first time garden. I've thrown seeds in the ground before, but I didn't actually think anything would survive. I went along with the misguided idea that I actually had a black thumb, not a green thumb, that everything was like doomed to die with me. Now I'm going on the philosophy that if you plant enough of everything, something will grow, regardless of the black thumb. So far it's working, and especially it helps whenever you let Mother Nature take her course, because she does a much better job at growing plants than I do, apparently. The second one with all of this is that this garden you see here starts over there at our duck garden, and it comes all the way down the entire length of our driveway. So our garden is about 26 feet wide and about 300 feet long. So we have also done 2 succession plantings of our lettuce as well. We've got some leeks interplanted in here. So we've got those there, and so we've got our romaine lettuce there, and we are doing a attempt at another planting of butterhead lettuce that is going better than the first. And at the end of each row here, see if I can get my shadow out of this shot here, but we have got some amazing zinnias. Now honestly, I didn't think that I would like these, but I love them. I thought that they would be too daisy-like. I thought that they would look too cheap. They are the cutest things ever. Obviously pollinators, but I am a cut flower girl. Next, we have a couple of rows of Brussels sprouts. Now, I did try to do the same thing, and I tried to interplant with some leeks. Honestly, it's a little too shady. They're a little too close together still. They're not loving life, but they're doing all right. Now, again, here we actually had another row of broccoli that was taken out, and I had some tomato plants gifted to me. So don't tempt me with a good time here. I took them. And so we're going to be having some other, I believe it's beef eater, a couple other tomatoes in here. The next row here that you're seeing is cabbage. I think we're on hard learned garden lesson number 4 here. But these tie-dyes that you're seeing, we had, again, such a problem with these cabbage moths that were there that I tried making a garden spray from half vinegar, half water. I don't know if it's the vinegar itself or if it's the dilution, but I guess it ended up being just way too strong and ended up bleaching out. But we're looking at making some sauerkraut, and I am so excited. I got mason jars for that, and I got the little weights that you put into the mason jars, and I got the mason jar lids that you can burp that have kind of that, what's that called, like a snake drain or something like that, like that catches all the stuff coming out or whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm literally just winging all of this. Again, I guess we got some of our seedlings mixed up, so we had some broccoli in this row as well. Our onions are doing so good. I am so excited. And we've got some more cabbage in here. All of these rows are about 4 feet between the 2 of them, so about 2 feet wide. It's honestly just big enough that I have my lawnmower go down the middle. So it kind of helps cut down on weeding. I only have to weed in between the plants. And we use the grass cuttings in between the rows as mulch. One thing I will say with that is I watched a video and this person like explained it perfectly, was that you have to layer the grass clippings that you do use in your garden as mulch fairly thinly, so you're looking to actually dry them out so they become almost like a hay. If you end up putting it down too thickly, then it ends up more so decomposing instead of mulching. And because grass is carbon heavy, it pulls the nitrogen out of the soil that you need for your plants. So it actually ends up hampering their growth. So just a side note. Again, no idea what I'm talking about. We're just winging it. But so far, YouTube's been a fairly good teacher. On that note, shout out to Honey Homesteading and Epic Gardening, and oh my god, there's so many more to list on that one. Jenna, of course, from Roots and Refuge Farm, and Jill. It has been a process, but over the winter and lots of planning and binge watching, you guys have gotten me here. So next is beets. So we've got 3 types of beets. We've got our red ace that we tried to plant last year, and I actually got like maybe a handful of them out of the ground that are amazing. We also tried a heirloom cylindra, and we've also got our, I believe it's like a winter lusk. So here we have got some turnips. We've got some carrots in between that and the beets. We have got kale, so there is another little row right in here with our second succession planting of kale. I know you can't really tell with the grass. Guys, I love this. So we ended up just picking it, washing it, freezing it in the freezer, and then putting it into a bag after it's been frozen, refreezing it in these Ziploc containers, or these Ziploc bags. And I got 10 large freezer bags just out of this row. I am in love. Spinach. So spinach went immediately to bolt. This is our second planting of it. Thank God I did do that, else I wouldn't have any. So garden blender again. This guy. Guys. Okay, so he's looking a little nasty. I'm going to be harvesting these guys out today. I think the bugs are just like a little too much. Now I know that one of these guys down here, is looking pretty damn good. So we're going to take these out this morning, and we're going to throw some other stuff in there at some point soon. So that pretty much brings us to about 200 feet of our garden space. We've got, of course, the first 100 is the wheat and our duck garden, with the zucchini, the cucumbers, tomatoes. You move further down, and it's kind of stuff that needs to be harvested, interplanted. So we really tried to keep the most labor-intensive stuff up near the house, and the things that you kind of eat more so on a daily basis, the cucumber, the zucchini, tomatoes, peppers, and then we kind of put things that would be harvested and interplanted and like succession plantings a little bit closer. But this last 100 feet is our attempt at a 3 sisters planting. So I did do everything in rows, and we kind of held the rows whenever we first planted them. I have, actually, my brother-in-law is El Salvadorian, so he brought back some. That's this first row here that is so green. He brought back some El Salvadorian corn. So we planted that. That's doing really well. And then we've got some sweet corn that I tried to save from last year that is actually doing not too bad. And then we've just got some cattle corn in the back. So we're trying to actually grow our own chicken feed. We did interplant it. Here, let me show you. We did try to interplant it here with, these ones are pumpkins, I believe. So each row has something different. But we've got some squash in there, we've got some pumpkins. So they're helping somewhat control the weeds, I think. I do have to go through here and weed a little bit, but as you can see here, we've also got some peas coming up on these. So there are peas in here as well. I think as we get further into this and we do this for more years, we'll get the spacing a little bit better as well as the timing for it, because the peas are not, I want to say, exactly loving life, but yeah. And so that is literally all of these rows here. Again, I've got to go through here. Unfortunately, because of the pumpkins here, you see we cannot go through with the mower. So there are at times more weeds than there are food crops. But once we get down to the bottom, so getting down to the garden at the end, at this point I was thinking there's a lot. I felt overwhelmed. I wasn't making the videos. I did not have the time. I was harvesting broccoli. I was harvesting kale. I was trying to get everything in the freezer. And I just didn't know what to do, but I felt like the space wasn't being utilized as efficiently as it could be. So, again, I want to say, I think it was Epic Gardening actually. So thank you, Kevin. I found out that you can actually plant beans up until like July. And I was like, no way. And I looked, and sure enough, they're like 60 to 90 days. And I'm like, fucking fantastic. It's my channel, I can swear. Hell yeah. I think this makes it less kid friendly though. It might not get as many views. So anyway. I did do some sweet peas in here. So now here at the end of the garden, we kind of see just how chaotic my life got between the two jobs and my daughter and moving back to be closer to work. I felt like I was not utilizing this space. And Brody, get off the corn. Dank. Laid down right on top of the corn. That is knee height. And my other child, but on top of all of this stuff, I felt like I wasn't utilizing the space as well as I could be. I didn't know what my next step was for anything. I was just really trying to take things out as fast as I could, put things in as fast as I could. And I actually have to thank, one is Jen. Obviously I've mentioned her like 3 times in this one now, from Roots and Refuge Farm, and also Epic Gardening. So Kevin, I'll start with Jen. I had sweet peas and she made these videos and she's like, oh, these smell so good. I wish I could like show you guys. I wish I could give you guys the smell in the video. And I was like, all right, we're buying sweet peas. So I got sweet peas. I started them. I forgot about them. They were horribly neglected and I had nowhere to put them. I'm like, do I have to trellis these things or not? So I thought, well, I've got peas further up. These ones are toxic. I'm like, well, shit. But I figured sweet peas, nitrogen in the soil, like it's still kind of the same thing. And as long as I keep them separate from this end, then they're 100 feet away. I know what's what. So we got sweet peas growing in, trellised with our corn. Let me show you. So again, it's kind of hard to see, but we do have sweet peas in with. So my next one was actually from Kevin at Epic Gardening, was the learning that you can actually plant beans in July. And I thought, no fucking way, that's not a thing. It takes way longer. And nope, you can direct seed beans in July. So if you think that you are too far gone to start gardening, you're probably not. So we have got beans. Let me show you here. Just starting. So I literally planted these guys last week and they are slowly popping up. We got a couple good ones over here too, and you can see that there's some more of those sweet peas trellising up. So we've got beans. Hey guys, next day. Sorry, I have been fighting a cold like crazy, and I just wanted to redo my outro. It is early in the morning, and I guess this whole thing came about because I was talking to my partner Robin, and at one point he proposed the question to me of, is a garden even worth it? So the whole idea behind all of this is to keep record of what I take out of the garden, how much I had spent on that, and actually look at its profitability. So I hope you guys stay along for that journey with us. So far we have done the broccoli from start to finish. So for about a $4 seed packet, we actually ended up saving, I'd say it was about $53 if we had gone to the store and actually bought the frozen spinach or frozen kale. So that's kind of cool. As always, this channel works off the idea of reciprocity. So thank you for your time. Thank you for sticking with us through this quite lengthy garden tour. And also we're here trying to build a community and trying to give people the tools to be able to go out and start their own first garden, knowing that they are going to profit from it in more ways than one. So at the end of this video, make sure to leave a comment and make sure to leave a comment. A couple days later, we're going to be going through those comments, selecting one, and that person is going to get their choice of seed packet mailed to them at the end of the month from West Coast Seeds. So thank you so much again, guys, for all of your time. We hope to see you next time, and don't forget, never stop growing.